From the football field to telling the stories of those fighting for their lives, Kiara Brown reports on a Minot State alum who recently returned from Ukraine.
And if you can't get out, try the next day.
Ryan Fila graduated from MSU in 2018 and played football at this field. Now he's a short filmmaker who journeyed to Ukraine to document events on the ground.
My game plan was to get to the border in Poland and tell some stories there of people coming across, assess the situation of getting into Ukraine, and then crossing and see kind of what we can capture and what we can tell from that side.
When he arrived, he met a musician who travels the globe with a grand piano to play music for people who may need it the most. Fila and the musician crossed the border into Ukraine and headed straight to the train station where refugees are fleeing the country. After playing music for those who are fighting for their lives, they arrived to what they thought was a coffee house.
Everything down and turned it into a huge refugee center with like hundreds of Ukrainians coming through.
The Ukrainians at the refugee center took Fila in with open arms. And in the center, Fila was given the opportunity to hear more stories. The more stories he heard, the more often he heard a common theme.
The amount of help that like average citizens have brought to the table in Ukraine and around Ukraine is beautiful.
He paints a picture of Ukrainians uniting in an indescribable way. He says in the time that he spent there, that specific refugee camp processed 2.5 million people. Fila says he thinks this unity is the reason that Ukraine has not been overrun the way the world thought it would be.
That city was so impressive.
Fila has been able to share the message that even in the chaos of war, there can be peace and beauty. In Minot, Kiara Brown, KX News.
Fila has set up a website for donations that will go directly to families in refugee camps. Click the story on our website for how you can help at kxnet.com.